What is going on, guys? Smooth Racing here, back with a brand new video, and today we've got our new episode of Top 5 Friday, and the third episode is Top 5 tracks we'd like to see return to Formula 1. So first of all then, let's get on with the countdown, and in number 5 is the Turkish Grand Prix at Istanbul Park. So this then was held for 7 years, and it had 58 laps, a sort of an average number of laps, and did a 125.0 was the pole position lap, set in 2011 by Sebastian Vettel, and sort of average sort of time. It was quite a good Grand Prix that seemed to go quite quickly, and really good. I thought it had quite a good flow to it. I think it was only stopped due to political rows, and obviously last seen in 2011 then, like I mentioned, where Vettel won, but the year before was a cracker in 2010. We saw all the Red Bull fiasco, and then Hamilton charging through to win the race, and Button in 2009, and Felipe Massa's surprise win in 2006, and Kimi Raikkonen winning in 2005. That was pivotal in the title challenge. Ferrari have 3 wins here, McLaren have 2, Braun, Mercedes have 1. Felipe Massa really likes this track, so maybe he could do well in his Williams. So he's won here 3 times. He held the record for the most wins around Turkey. Probably his only record, but nevertheless then I really like to see this return, but sadly due to the financial climate it probably won't. But overall then, the Turkish Grand Prix was a very good track, and I'd like it to return in the future. So then, moving on to number 4 in our countdown, and it is the French Grand Prix Magny Cours. Sorry if I said that wrong, but Magny Cours then in France, a very classic Grand Prix that was only sadly just stopped in 2008, and just sort of the French GP as a whole I'd like to return, because it being at the Paul Ricard Grand Prix circuit before, it's been plenty of different circuits since 1950, so there's been a French Grand Prix every year apart from one up until 2008, where of course it was sadly stopped, mainly just because of funding and the circuit not wanting to commit to the future in F1, but we saw some really good races. Felipe Massa won the last ever Grand Prix, sadly, in France, but really nice circuit, quite a short one. There were 70 laps usually, and the pole position time for the last ever race was a 1:16.4, so a very short track, which usually do bring up some really good racing, and this definitely fit the pattern. It had a lot of good racing, and it's a shame that there isn't one planned for 2014 or 2015, but hopefully we will see it back in the coming years, even if it's at the Paul Ricard circuit. But yeah, Magny Cours engraved its way into F1 history thanks to some really good racing and a really nice track design. So moving on then through our countdown to number 3. And at number 3 then we have the Estoril circuit in Portugal. Yes, this was held a Grand Prix for 13 years around Estoril from 1984 to 1996. Had some really good races. We saw a lot of different winners. The record for this circuit was Alain Prost. The record number of wins by a certain driver was Alain Prost, and that was only 3. And then so did Nigel Mansell. But apart from that, there were different winners each year. Just going down the list now, you've got Prost, Senna, Mansell, Prost, Berger, Mansell, Patrese, Mansell, Schumacher, Hill, Coulthard, and Villeneuve was the last ever winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix in Estoril. And once again, it was a pretty short track. A 1:20.3 was the pole position from the 1996. And I imagine if they brought it back, that pole position, that would probably be around a 1:15, 1:16. And had 70 laps, so quite short track once again, but a really nice flow to it, and I really, had a lot of fun driving around it on the new F1 2013 game, so really enjoyed that, and hopefully we'll see that return, because it did produce, some really good racing, and a few surprise winners, probably most notably Riccardo Patrese in 1991. But yeah, hoping that the Portuguese Grand Prix can return to F1 soon, but let's get on with our countdown then. And there's only 2 spots left then, and at number 2 is Imola. Yes, in San Marino, the San Marino Grand Prix, or as it was held a couple of times, the Italian Grand Prix, but certainly one of the most classic ones I've mentioned. It started in 1981, and then last seen in 2006, where Schumacher won. Schumacher absolutely loved this track, and so did the Ferrari team. He had numerous wins, definitely in the modern era, and Williams always, also enjoyed some success in the 1990s. Riccardo Patrese once again won here. So Schumacher won last. A lot of good racing around Imola. Obviously that tragic day in '94, no one wants to remember that, but there were some really good times, and that's what people must remember. And I think it would be a great tribute to Senna if we did see F1 back in Imola and doing Senna proud. Sadly, it might have been a tragic, circuit, but it's still, some great racing, and there can be some great racing in the future. So Schumacher won here 7 times. Senna and Prost won here 3 times. Senna loved this track, especially in qualifying. I think he got about 8 pole positions around here. Mansell and Hill also getting 2 wins, and Ferrari enjoying 8 wins, and McLaren enjoying 6. So they got 62 laps usually around here. So once again, quite a small circuit. I do find that some of these small circuits are better circuits. Not sure why, but yeah, that was a 1:22.7 was the time, and we saw some different weathers as well here, and that made for some really great racing between some of the greatest ever drivers in F1, from Schumacher to Senna. So moving on then to the final track in our countdown, and it is Brands Hatch. Now this might be surprising to a few people, but this is a circuit I love. This is a circuit I love racing around, love watching races from Brands Hatch, and I just think this is a perfect classic track, and I'd love to see the modern cars go around this sort of nearly oval track. Not many corners, but it's such high speeds, and I think it would be brilliant for Formula 1. Maybe, a bit of renovating for the track, maybe a bit more safety features, because it's not exactly the safest. But, still some great races here. We saw Carlos Ruttmann, win from 8th on the grid in 1978. Probably the best ever Brands Hatch Grand Prix. But some, really nice track. I love the layout, kind of oval sort of shape, the GP circuit, and really hoping it will turn to Formula 1. But, I've been Smooth Racing then. This has been my top 5. I'd be really interested to seeing your top 5. Might be quite different to mine. You can leave that in the comments. Please like, share and subscribe for more weekly F1 and motorsport content. So I've been Smooth Racing then, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.